you will see a brief summary about yellow fever in Philadelphia 1793, symptoms, causes, consequences, and what happened with this pandemic. Welcome. During an unusually hot and dry summer in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the city had accumulated excessive numbers of mosquitoes and flies, which are mostly among the dogs. Going back from this event. Philadelphia in the 1718s is a microcosm of the nation, which is to say, it's full of promise and possibility. Philadelphia is one of the great trading cities of the Atlantic world, is one of the great immigration cities of the Atlantic world, and of course, is the capital of the United States government. So there is this real sense of dynamism and energy associated with the fact that you could walk down Market Street and see Washington come out his front door, Jefferson, Hamilton, Marshall. These folks are walking on the street with white laborers, free blacks, and slave blacks, property owners, people who are struggling to get their little business up and running. So there's this incredible amount of confidence not just in the high halls of politics, but down at the street level people feel like they're in the right place at the right time to prosper and to really move forward. The catalyst in the is the poor the business. In the New World, much of Philadelphia's prosperity comes because of our international trade to the Caribbean, to Europe with China. All of this is creating prosperity. No one is more responsible for this success or the global scope of its business than the hard driving French immigrant Stephen Girard. So, in the cause of the slave rebellion, Stephen Girard offers the use of his ships to Frenchmen who were fleeing and thought this seems like a good act of benevolence. There were actually anticipated consequent ships owned by Girard and other merchants by more than 1,200 French and 600 ordered slaves to Philadelphia. Some of them are infected with these diseases. This caused the local government to collapse. By the end of September, 20,000 people fled the city to try to cure his parents. Dr. Rush purged his patients and remedy much of these patients bled to death. And now there are articles debating where Rush was an assassin or a beloved healer. The virus is endemic in tropical areas of Africa and Central and South America. It was transferred this epidemic yellow fever is Aedes and Hemogogus. Mosquitoes transfer yellow fever by biting the infected and biting the uninfected, consequently spreading the disease. Sources say that the disease was brought to the United States by 2,000 French colonial refugees, and along with some slaves at the time, nobody knew the causes of yellow fever, and the symptoms come in three stages: infection, remission, and intoxication. So the Arch Street Wharf, where the first cluster of cases was identified. Okay. In remission, you either got better or worse in 24 hours. And intoxication, you develop internal organ problems. The symptoms of the three stage or intoxication were jaundice or your yellowing of the skin and eyes, arrhythmia or irregular heartbeat, distilled urine, coughing up blood, vomiting, internal hemorrhage, fever, headache, seizures, and delirium. In worst cases, you will end up in a coma. Mayor of Philadelphia and the town committee organized a fever hospital for the sick, and in the hospital, Wagners and Aire the sick white black men were organized to get rid of the corpse. And the news of yellow spread fear to other cities, ports in Baltimore and New York City, quarantine against refuge and goods from Philadelphia. Okay, large epidemics of yellow fever occur when infected people introduce the virus into heavily populated areas with high mosquito density and where most people have little or no immunity due to lack of vaccination. In these conditions, infected mosquitoes of the Aedes aegypti species transmit the virus from the person to person. The disease entered North American ports on commercial ships arriving in New York in 1668. Yellow fever is an acute viral hemorrhagic disease transmitted by infected mosquitoes. The yellow in the name refers to the jaundice that affects some patients. Today, a vaccine prevents yellow fever in much of the world. Thousands of people still die every year from this disease.